Welcome to Onslow County Today. I'm your host, Lisa Whitman-Grice, and we are ready to welcome you to 2022 here from the Onslow County Government Center. Today, we're going to be talking with our county manager, Ms. Sharon Griffin, about the year we've had and the year we're looking forward to. We'll also visit with our friend Matt Mano from the Onslow County Public Library, Tondria Leach from Pierce, who has a very special birthday celebration coming up. We'll speak with Lynn McDevitt from the Onslow County Health Department, Morgan Johnson from the Department of Social Services, and finally with Alyssa Jackson from the Onslow County Cooperative Extension Office. We are so glad you're joining us for Onslow County Today. Happy New Year. Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is Sharon Griffin, Onslow County Manager. Ms. Sharon, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
We have had some times, you and I, before we came on camera, we were talking about the times we have had together.
Yes.
And worked together. Really now, you and I have worked together 6 years? 6 years. The last 4, perhaps a little more daunting than we would have possibly imagined. But we also talked about having the right people in the right place. And you have been our leader throughout this daunting time. And the first thing I say in a New Year's episode is how grateful I am for the good things and the challenging things.
That's right.
So first of all, thank you.
Thank you. And I appreciate you and all of our staff. We do have the right people in the right place.
And now here we are ready to move forward into 2022. And I always like to invite you to talk about a vision or sort of a guiding force that takes us into the new year, and what's been on your mind and on the mind of our leadership as we prepare for this new year.
Well, I think our Board of Commissioners has worked very hard to ensure that we continue to stay on the right path to serving our citizens and doing so while being fiscally responsible and really, really focusing in on serving those citizens that we have. The last couple of years, the last, as you said, 4 years since Florence, for all of us in Onslow County, this has been a stressful time, day after day after day. And what we're seeing is that citizens and our employees, people are tired. Some people feel a bit beaten down by everything that's happened. And we're just focusing on the amazing resilience of these wonderful people we all get to live with here in Onslow County, the resilience of our employees, and the fact that we have each other and we're going to pull each other through no matter what happens, no matter what 2022 brings. We don't have to worry about it being a year with or without challenges, as you point out, because whatever the challenges are, we're going to be here to face them.
You talk about us doing it together. Talk a little bit about the way in which we do sort of nurture and encourage and support one another.
We've really tried as a county government to set up a culture that encourages people to be themselves, to be creative, to be innovative, to know that they can make mistakes, and to know that when things are difficult, they will have a team rally around them. They will have people there that will not leave the room until the problem is solved, and that none of our employees and none of our citizens are going to stand by themselves. Because when we do that, we can solve whatever problems are thrown our way.
Well, we talked a little bit about challenges and problems, but a new year, and not, in a false hope sense of way, but a new year does have lots of promise. And I also know that as we've been thinking about how COVID has shaped our county and changed our response, the way in which we respond to things, hurricanes, whatever that challenge may be,
Right.
Without having false hope, there is a sense of promise. Talk a little bit about how we're looking forward to the new year.
We are looking forward to the new year, and you're right, Lisa. The new year brings that hope and that freshness of starting again and taking a fresh look at some of our old problems and really tackling things head on. We have learned to become more and more prepared for when things aren't going well, when we do get the unexpected. And that is what we need to do in Onslow County. We're here at the coast. We're going to have things come up that we don't expect. And we've really, really focused in on having a core team that is ready no matter what happens. We're also excited to be going into a year where revaluation will be taking place. We are also looking at changes in how we're going to offer senior services and their facilities, perhaps. The EOC is looking at some changes and some improvements out there. Our Parks and Recreation Department is continuing to expand the offerings for citizens, as is the museum and the library. And our Human Services departments are continuing, along with law enforcement and emergency services, to really take care of the human need in our community and to be ready and flexible as those needs change.
I thank you for bringing that message of promise and hope and forward looking. We glance backward for a little guidance, but look forward to what's next. Sharon, the last thing I'd like for you to do is just offer a wish of New Year's tidings to our viewers, if you will.
Okay. I just want to wish all of our citizens here in Onslow County a wonderful place to live that we get to share with each other, a very happy new year, and a new year filled with joy with your family and your friends. And I'd also like to thank you for allowing the county to continue to serve you, because it is our honor.
Thank you, Sharon. We appreciate your time. Welcome back to Onslow County Today. And joining us now is one of my favorite friends, Matt Mano. Matt, thanks for being here.
Absolutely, I love going.
So Matt, it's the new year, new opportunities, and one or more of us probably got a book for Christmas.
Absolutely.
Or during the holidays, while we had a minute off, we zipped by our branch and maybe checked out a few books.
Hopefully to get through the closing, because we're closed a few days, so
Right.
everybody's
So,
hitting the reading list.
so we got our reading list. We're good to go. Either gifted or we've downloaded them. We've got some books to be reading.
Yes,
It's cold, a little bit.
a little bit.
It might be hot tomorrow.
You never know now.
We have some new books to be reading, and you have given us ample opportunity to either challenge ourselves, challenge our friends, challenge our babies. I mean, talk about all the different ways that we can read this winter and join in with our other friends through the Onslow County Public Library system.
Yeah, so all these challenges that are coming on, a couple that we've had going, a couple new ones, and a couple returning. So we have the Winter Reading Challenge coming back, of course, this year. So we kicked off January 1st. That'll be going all the way through the end of February 28th. Prizes, infant all the way to adults. So regardless of how old you are, you can get into one of those categories. You log your minutes read. It works the same way, almost like summer reading does. So you just jump onto Read Squared that we use. There's an app for it. You can do it on the browser. You can come into the library. We'll help you get registered if you need a hand with that. One account for the whole family, so you don't have to worry about jumping into each individual email or password or anything like that. So super easy to get registered and do. And it's one of those things that, there's the summer reading program we use to help prevent that summer slide. And the winter reading challenge is kind of similar. The kids have their holiday break, they're out of school, but it also, like you said, it's getting colder, or, it might get warm, but then it might get cold again. People just might not want to go out because of the temperature fluctuating. And so it's a perfect time to just chill out and read a book. And, if you don't want to read, we want to give you that little nudge to read. Find something. There's tons to read on our digital library. There's tons that you can check out at the library. We have all 4 branches. There's plenty to find. So we just kind of want to give our patrons and our citizens a little nudge to start exploring some more titles or materials. And so the Winter Reading Challenge can do that for anybody of all ages.
Well, this time of year, everybody is publishing their top 10 reads for the year. Either came out last year and you don't want to miss it, or here's what's to look forward to. So what a perfect time of year to sort of get some sneak peeks as well about what's out there, or revisit those classics.
Yep, and speaking of classics too, our picture books. There's a lot of classics there.
You know what, we as we were off camera, we were talking about, you and I both used to have little cute kiddos, and I have big cute kiddos, and we all talk about those favorite picture books.
Absolutely.
And tell us about the picture book challenge.
Sure thing. So we have, like you said, there's those books that are our favorites that we've read 10 times over with our little ones. So the picture book challenge is another challenge that we're introducing for January. So this is brand new to the library, to Onslow County, and what it is it's challenging our parents and kiddos. So this one's for our pre-K, our 0 to 5 year olds, and what it is each month we introduce a challenge for them to read. So January, there's 2 different challenges. So you can register just like you would for the Winter Reading Challenge or anything like that. You select your child and then you register for the picture book challenge, and then you could be challenged to read a book with red in it, or you could be challenged to read a rhyming book, could be challenged to read a book with woodland critters, or a book about being on the farm, anything like that. So what they'll do is they'll go ahead and they'll register. There will be a mission in Read Squared with that challenge. They'll select that they've done it, and then they can do it again if they'd like. And then at the end of the month, we pull a prize for one lucky preschooler through the system to win. So each month the challenges change, and then, like we said, we're just hoping to give a little nudge to keep reading to our kiddos.
I might have to borrow a preschooler because these are my favorites. We have such great memories, and as you listed the categories,
absolutely,
titles just kept popping in that were such favorites. Yeah. So I think what a fun way, and also the interdisciplinary idea that if we're going to read about red, we're also talking about learning our colors, and we know that that's one of those stepping stones, prepping everybody for big school. For sure, and we're fans of Every Child Ready to Read at the library. Yes. So we have all of those key aspects to reading, whether it's print identification or the language, reading, writing, seeing how the words form, seeing how the letters blend, learning about, what comes next, and helping kids learn context clues and everything. So, like you said, there's always something additional that we can teach and learn about it too. And it is never, ever too early to read to your child. And that brings us to your next very special competition. Yes. Because also, when we're introducing competition to littles, it's also never too early to start. That's right. That's right. And this get that competitive spirit going. This is our big one. We've been doing it for quite a while. The 1,000 books before kindergarten. Gosh, I love that. We love it. We moved to North Carolina. Our son was 10 months old when we moved, and as soon as we got involved with the library and got our card, we signed up for the 1,000 books before kindergarten. We hit it around his 3rd birthday. Wow. So it's great. And again, this is one of those passive challenges. There's no time frame you have to do it other than before kindergarten. There you go.
So you can sign up at any point. And again, this one's done through Read Square too. We try to keep everybody on the same platform so they don't have to jump to all sorts of things. And what they do is they just log every book that they read. You know, you don't have to memorize each one you do. You just have to log whether or not you read a book. You can read the same book 20 times over. That's okay. I'm pretty sure 350 of the books that we read were the same one. Because again, we said our kiddos have a favorite, and we just keep on doing that one because we want them to love reading. So what you do is you log them. By the time you get to 1,000, the kids get their own backpack. They get a sticker to put in one of the library books that was their favorite book to read. So it says, it has their name. It says that they've read 1,000 books before kindergarten, and this was their favorite book. So every time they go to the library, they can see that, oh, there's my favorite book, and there's the sticker that says that's what it was. And then, of course, our friends of the library have even partnered and give them a free book at the book sale, too, as a reward for it as well.
You know, as I think about you talking about your littles and those moments, and then these kids reading 1,000 books, my favorite reading moment is when you catch your 3-year-old in the corner mouthing the words and saying the words, and they've memorized.
Yes.
But that is reading.
My 6-year-old and 2-year-old have done it. So my 6-year-old is now, he's getting into the reading aspect and the letters. He's not quite, reading yet, but he's memorized a couple of the favorite books that he'll read to my daughter. So it's funny to watch him. He sees that a word starts with an S, so he'll just find an S word. So it might be shiny or, sticky, and he just figures out a word for it.
But they're just talking away, and you're like, that is reading. Thank you for bringing that love and that challenge and that idea of what's the next best thing on my book list, whether it's Elmo or Jane Austen.
Right.
There's something for everybody.
There absolutely is. Yep, digital or print, and they can do it from any of our 4 branches or online to our website, onslowcountync.gov/library. We have all of our connections there, Facebook, Pinterest, we have Twitter, Instagram. The library's connected all over to show everybody our new releases, Onslow County Public Library, or call us, 910-455-7350. We're happy to tell everybody what's new over the phone, too.
Well, Matt, thank you for telling us what's new and for kicking off New Year's 2022 with us.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Matt. Thank you. Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us is Tondria Leach, our director of our Peers program. Tondria, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
We had your wonderful Katie Lemire join us last month talking about your resiliency program and what that means for our children here in Onslow County. So thank you for sharing her with us. As we kick off the new year, though, Tondria, you have a wonderful commemoration this year that we want to talk about.
Peers is turning 45.
45 years that you all have been helping us all be better parents and really investing in the quality of life for our children. And so, happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you.
So 45 years, we want to remind our viewers the mission of Peers and how it sort of fits within the under the umbrella of our Department of Social Services.
Okay. So Peers' mission is to work collaboratively with the community partners and families to help with the prevention and intervention of child abuse and neglect. We were developed, I've told everybody, just by a lot of social workers at DSS back in the 70s. But as I've been doing all the history diving, I've learned more and more about Peers than I ever thought I would know. I thought I knew a lot about it, but no. It came about because of a federal law called CAPTA, Child Abuse Prevention Treatment Act. And there was a community group that got together under a child abuse task force and said, what can we do? And Dr. Chorley, through Carolina Psych, I've worked with him professionally and never knew he had an impact on Peers. But he was one of the driving forces with it, working with Dr. Miss Sue Applewhite, who used to be a director. Bless her. We found the first director of peers, Miss Nancy Calthorpeth, who has relocated, but her children still reside here in Onslow County. It's so warming to see that, because the federal law changed to say we need to help children, we need to help. The social workers embraced it. Everyone embraced it and said, we're going to work this, even though we're not a 501c3, we're going to work to help these families be the best that they can be. And I still feel like we do that today. They went through the whole ordeal of becoming a nonprofit. It's a long process. But they have done it from the back of a church to a small office space to peers buying their own building, and we're a little white house, a 2-story white house. So it feels like you're coming home every time you come to Piers. And we're just excited to celebrate our 45 years of service to Onslow County.
Well, you know what I love is, as you were talking about those names, and they're names that might be familiar to people in our community, that they had a vision 45 years ago,
yes,
and a hope,
yes,
and an ideal, not just an idea, but an ideal,
yes,
setting for our families.
Yes.
And to see that it has come forward, and 45 years later you're still growing and going.
Yes.
Talk about, if you will, you know, that mission and those goals that were set down 45 years ago. Talk about what it's become today.
So, reading the first handbook that Piers ever had, that Miss Sue Applewhite wrote, they were serving 6 parents at a time, and in the parenting, education, and child care combined. Whereas now, Miss Katie, who you guys saw last month, she serves hundreds of parents a year. And we started out with serving 6 parents and their 6 children in child care, so that they can learn the basic skills of living on their life, being self-sufficient, parenting. And we've evolved from that to a handwritten curriculum to that we have 14 different curriculums that we utilize in parenting education now. We have 2 child care rooms that we're providing a safe place for parents to utilize once a week. We have our Illicit Parenting program that can grow, helping our teen moms and dads, helping them stay in school, helping them stay on task, and helping them with their life directions, learning about what they can do to be the best parents they can be. I mean, every day is a new day at Piers. You never know what's going to happen at Piers. Look, I'm going to get teary-eyed. Don't make me get teary-eyed. I don't cry. But Piers is a part of me. It's in my heart. I've been a part of Piers for so long as a volunteer, a board member. I've even taken parenting classes there, and now I teach all the parenting classes. And it's just a wraparound. Like, when you come to Piers, you are family with us. If we can't provide it, we're going to reach out to our community partners, and we're going to say, look, we have someone that needs your help, and we're going to get you that help. So we may not be able to provide all the services to everyone, but that's okay. We have enough people here in this community that cares. You know, in Onslow County, that's what it makes it so endearing to me to stay here forever. I mean, I just love it. I wasn't born here, but I love this community.
Weren't born here, but you got here as quickly as you could.
I could, that's right.
Now, do you know, but I love hearing the passion that you speak about. It's the same passion that 45 years ago Sue Applewhite had.
Exactly.
And it has carried through. It's generational, yes, at Piers. And you've stayed true to who you are and only made, yes, it better.
Yes.
When we spoke with our county manager at the beginning of our production today, she talked about how we make one another stronger by working together and relying on one another. And you've made our family stronger, Tandria. Your team at Piers, and through 45 years. And now those earliest Piers babies, yes, are now adults. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about, as we look at your 45-year celebration, what you've heard from the families or the kiddos who benefited from what Piers has to offer.
Well, I've heard heard from them, but I've read letters about what an impact that peers has made on them. From the single mom going through high school, trying to get transportation so she can get her child back and forth to the doctor, and what an impact it made on her. Just today, I was in a meeting where I heard about another teen that was in our program who now has her master's in nursing. It's not just our adolescent parents, it's the parents who bring their kids once a week. Sometimes they just need to go home and relax without a screaming child, or just taking a hot shower by themselves. That is a major impact to that parent at that moment. The parenting education classes, if anyone hasn't been to any of our classes, please join. Parenting is hard. They make an impact on myself and Miss Katie just as we make an impact on them. We learn every day from our families, and we love sharing that knowledge with other people in our community. But I would like to ask our community, though, if they do have any stories of impact, how Peers has embraced them in the past, all the way from 1977 on, to contact Peers, because we would love to put together a video. Awesome. And so they could do a short video on their phone, or they could write out a statement for us, but we would love to gather those stories together in one place, and be able to have that as part of our history.
That is fantastic. When you said that, what I thought about was the heart of the Cowardly Lion who needed a testimonial.
Yes.
And you are full of heart, Tandria, and so some testimonials from those who have walked through Peers' door and then grown up and moved forward. Yes. So again, let's tell folks how they can reach you.
So they can contact us at Peers. They could call us at 910-333-9725, or they can email my assistant, Samantha Withrow, Samantha_Withrow, Withrow, at onslowcountync.gov, and send their stories to her. She's going to be gathering them for me. We're going to compile them all, and we're hoping to have a birthday celebration. We're hoping it's at Burton Park. The plans have not been all finalized yet, but we do want to invite the families who have been impacted, the community members, the professionals who have supported us and continue to support us today, to come together and be a part of our birthday.
That is fantastic, and what a great invitation. Works are still, being made, planning is still being done, but we're kicking off 2022 with the 45th birthday at Peers, inviting members of the community to share their stories, to share their support with Peers, and look forward to what comes next.
And they can stop by anytime. Peers is an open house. Come on by, see us.
Fantastic. Well, Tandria, thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to you.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us is a new face to Onslow County Today, Lynn McDevitt from the Onslow County Health Department. Lynn, thanks for being here.
It's great to be here.
So we've been talking a lot throughout this whole episode of Onslow County Today about new beginnings and the new year. And you all have a wonderful program, your Prevent T2 program, which, as we come out of the holidays, this is a great way for folks who might be struggling with prediabetes to make some changes. And so what we would love for you to do is talk a little bit about what we mean by prediabetes versus type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes, how we distinguish that, and then why this program can change your life, can change your health.
Sure. So prediabetes is a period of time in which you have elevated blood sugar, and that's something that a routine blood test can find out. but you're not high enough to where you're diagnosed as having, we're talking about mostly type 2 diabetes. And so type 2 diabetes has to do with insulin resistance, and it's different from type 1 diabetes, which is more having issues with production of insulin, and the risk factors and things like that is a little different. But pre-diabetes, the thing is, about 34 million Americans have diabetes, about 88 million Americans have pre-diabetes. So that's about 1 in 3 American adults, and majority of them don't know that they have it because there aren't a lot of outward symptoms, but of course, people who have pre-diabetes are more likely to develop diabetes later on in the next 5 years. So what is great about this program that I'm here to talk about today is that it works with people who are at higher risk for developing type 2 diabetes, so they have pre-diabetes, and working with them to look at lifestyle changes and helping them prevent diabetes.
Well, the idea that number is so high. And as you say, it's not the obvious thing. So when we think about folks who have perhaps developed type 2 diabetes, there are some symptoms, those common symptoms that we're looking for. But in this case, you all have sort of a checklist or a little quiz for us that says, perhaps you are in that range. Let's do a little bit of a self-assessment and talk a little bit about what those questions are and what we need to be mindful of. Because again, we're not saying that you might have symptoms, but maybe you have these risk factors.
Right, so this is a readily available risk test that you can find if you just Google search CDC pre-diabetes or diabetes risk. And so what it does is it looks at things that put you at higher risk, such as being older. So if you are, I believe it's 40, 45 years or older, if you're a male, you're at higher risk. If you are female and you've had gestational diabetes, so diabetes during pregnancy, that puts you at higher risk, and also looking at your BMI, so your height and weight. So things like that can put you at higher risk, and if you score high enough on this risk test, then that qualifies you to participate in our program. And then another way, of course, is to have a direct blood test when you go see your primary care provider. That would let you know that you're at higher risk of developing diabetes, and you should think about making those changes that will help you prevent developing that later on.
Well, so let's talk about this program. We've done this self-assessment and we've said, you know what, this might be just the right answer that I've been looking for. What does the Prevent T2 program look like at the Onslow County Health Department? And once we determine what the program is, how do we get involved? So first things first is tell us about what it does and what does it look like?
Okay, sure. So this is a year-long class, and first 3 months we meet every week. Months 3 to 6 we meet once every other week, and then 6 to 12 is meeting monthly. And what this does is it's not just us lecturing you, hey, eat better, work out more. It's more of looking at how to incorporate small changes that you can sustain and make last that will help prevent diabetes down the road, because it's not just a matter of promoting a certain program or a diet. It's about how to make it work in your lifestyle, because everyone has things that they're dealing with outside of work, or whether it's family or what have you. So working with the participants in a classroom setting so that they can interact and learn from each other, and kind of have a support system. That's kind of what makes this program stand out in my mind. And of course, Prevent T2 is a CDC curriculum, and we're teaching this curriculum that is based on a study that was done in 1996 that showed that people who undergo this kind of a support and lifestyle change class are significantly less likely to develop diabetes, type 2 diabetes, than just using medication alone, or of course not making lifestyle changes. So
this is really about early intervention. So before we get there, it's this intervention, it's this support. So so those who are in the class have that person who says, you know, this was really hard for me, and they have that opportunity for exchange as well. So how does one register or get involved with the class?
Sure. So right now we are looking at starting our next class early next year. So, I guess this year, end of January, beginning of February. And you can reach out by either emailing me, it's Lynn_McDevitt, LIN_MCDEVITT at onslowcountync.gov, or you could call me. My number is 910-989-3943, and we can enroll you in the next available class. These class sizes are on the smaller side. We try to keep them, 10 to 15 participants. However, we're looking to enroll more people in the future, so don't feel hesitant to reach out to me and see if we can sign you up.
Well, again, this is a great incentive for the new year for folks who are looking to make these lifestyle changes, who might be at risk for developing type 2 diabetes. And again, you've created this very positive setting for folks to do that. The last thing is, this curriculum is tried and true. It's been tested. What do you hear about from your peers at the health department about the success of these programs and really helping people make these lifestyle changes?
Sure. So I think what's really valuable about these classes is that interaction and sustained kind of meeting throughout the year. And I think part of the success of the program is, one, that it's evidence-based, and two is that close interaction. And I think that what you put into the class directly relates to how much you will get out of it, because it is a time commitment. We're asking folks to come and spend an hour with us every week for the first few months, but it's that constant kind of social interaction and just kind of prompting people to motivate them, to help them through those barriers and challenges. That's what really makes the difference in the end.
Well, ultimately, that's what public health is about, right? We respond to all sorts of things, but it's about creating healthier communities. So thank you for bringing this program to us, Lynn. One more time, we want you to give us your telephone number so that folks know how to reach out to you so that they can ask questions and learn more about this great option.
Sure. My number is 910-989-3943.
Very good. Well, thank you. Again, you've not been with Onslow County, not quite a year yet, and we appreciate everything that you're doing, and you've jumped right in. Thank you for what you do, and we wish you a very happy new year.
Happy New Year, and thank you for having me.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and joining us now is another new face. We have Morgan Johnson joining us from the Onslow County Department of Social Services. Morgan, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So this time of year, we tend to think about heating bills. We've kind of come off the holiday season, and here we are in the earliest really wintry days here in Onslow County. And the Onslow County Department of Social Services has for years had a very special program called LIUP, which is an acronym, and I'll let you share with me what LIUP is, and then we'll talk a little bit about how the community can benefit from that.
The LIUP program is a low-income energy assistance program. Right now, the elderly ages 60 and above can apply. Basically, what the LIUP program does is puts a credit on your account to assist you throughout the year. Beginning January of 2022, anyone in the community can apply. It is solely based off your income. We ask that you bring a copy of your light bill, and we also ask that you provide a working telephone number because we will have to complete a phone interview.
Okay, so this is really to assist folks with their utility cost. So Is it only utility, or does it also include gas, or is it just for power?
If your primary heating source is gas, we can assist with gas. It has to be whichever your primary heating source is. So if it's gas, yes, we will assist on that.
Okay, very
If it's electric, we will assist on that as well.
Okay, so we want those utility bills, or how much, for example, maybe you spent last year on fuel if you have a gas furnace or something of that nature. So you need to have some backup support about what that cost is, and then, of course, a way to reach you.
Right. So you can reach out to us by contacting the agency. You can also apply online at epass.nc.gov.
Very good.
Or you can stop by the agency, pick up an application, complete it, and just turn it back in, and we'll make contact with you by phone.
So if we're going to drop by the agency, we want to let folks know, of course, we send folks to Consolidated Human Services, and they say, wait a minute, is that the old hospital? And it is exactly that. Is where our health department and Department of Social Services are now co-located. But let's give folks that address.
Okay, it's 612 College Street in Jacksonville. You just walk in, tell them you're there to apply for the Low Income Energy Assistance Program, and they'll make sure you get to where we are.
You know, this has been a program that you all have had in place for quite a while. And again, this time of year, when it can be challenging, and we want to make sure that folks have the resources that they need to stay warm, literally stay warm this winter. But you also have a new initiative, and that is the Low Income Assistance Program with water. So give us a little bit of background about that program and how we can perhaps share that with our viewers.
All right, so there are 3 priority groups with this program. The first priority group is households who are disconnected. Basically, it's almost the same as LEAP. You come in with your utility bill, you know, we make contact, we look at your income. The second group is basically who's in jeopardy of being disconnected. In order to be eligible, you have to be categorically eligible, receive food stamps, WAFA, and have received LEAP within the fiscal year of 2021.
Okay. And we do know that, you know, during the last 2 years, as people have had such great economic struggles, not in the midst of COVID, despite dealing with the pandemic, there have been a lot of challenges there, and there have been waivers at one time or another, but now, you know, as you say, folks may be in jeopardy of having their water service turned off or have already had it turned off. Now, in order to apply, is it a similar process to LIAP, or how would we go about doing that?
It's the same process. You can come to the agency, you can apply online, you can, you know, stop by anytime. We're always there.
You know what? I love that you've said that, because that is what our Department of Social Services is all about.
Yes, ma'am.
You're always there.
Yes, ma'am.
You are there in a time of need for families. You are there as a directory, if you will, of resources, and this Low Income Energy Assistance Program and the assistance with water cost are about being there. Are about being there. So we want to make sure that folks, one more time, know where your address, and also a telephone number where we can reach out to your department and ask more specific questions.
So we are located at 612 College Street, and we can be reached at 910-455-4145.
Very good. Well, Morgan, thank you. Thank you for coming out and sharing about these important programs. That there's a resource out there to support them.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to Onslow County Today, and continuing our theme of New Year, New Faces, we welcome Alyssa Jackson from Onslow County Cooperative Extension. Alyssa, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we said certainly that you're a new face to Onslow County Today, but you're also a relatively new face to Extension. Tell us when you joined our team.
I joined the team in September, so just 3 months ago.
Well, welcome, welcome. We are glad you are here, and you are joining us from what part of the country?
Iowa.
Iowa. So, all right. Welcome to the East Coast. We hope you are having a great time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, you have joined Cooperative Extension in a role that has been filled through time, but it sort of changes and has morphed a little bit. Tell us exactly what you're doing with Extension.
Yes, so I am the FNEP educator, which stands for Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program. And so I can work with both youth and adults. And essentially I do nutrition education for low resource families.
And that's one of the things we talk about, in the last year to 2 years, we've seen these rising prices. And there is the perception that it is difficult to eat nutritiously or healthfully on a budget, because oftentimes those type of products are seen as expensive.
Yeah.
Sort of out of reach. But talk about how FNEP brings that education to your participants and sort of dispels that notion.
Mm-hmm, definitely. So that's the main focus, is learning how you can eat healthy on a budget, and it can really be a lot cheaper than eating out or even frozen meals and things like that. And so we do a great focus on meal planning, budgeting, and also just utilizing local foods, or utilizing fresh versus frozen versus canned, and understanding how all of them have their own benefits.
Well, I think that that's one of the things. One of the things we talk about here in Onslow County is oftentimes we are separated from our extended family. And for some of our younger families, even knowing how to put together a budget and put together a meal plan for the week is something that we're a little bit separated from. Also, so many of us are just on the go.
Yes.
Right, and have to eat on the go. But you all even have sort of a plan for that. So talk a little bit about the sort of curriculum and the educational programming that you'll be building.
Yeah, definitely. And so our main focus is our nutrition, physical activity, and then kind of that budgeting aspect as well. And so the requirement would be at least 6 lessons with us in order to graduate, but we have 21 available lessons. So if there's of interest learning more about eating on the go, those are additional lessons that you can add on as well.
Okay, so what is sort of the fundamentals that you teach, the beginnings?
Beginnings are talking about using My Plate as a guide for building your plate for dinner, making sure you're getting in all those food groups, learning how to just move a little more throughout the day, and then meal planning and that kind of thing for the food management aspect.
Well, again, that even for someone who's had a household for a long time, the idea of meal planning changes. Maybe you had a house full of kiddos, and maybe you're an empty nester and you've had to make that change, or you're a family that's now growing and making those adjustments. So do you all speak to that as well, and really sort of how to make those changes within your household?
Yes, definitely. And so we talk a lot about being flexible, even with one single recipe that you have, learning how to make substitutions and make it fit for your family, utilizing your own family's favorite foods or what's on sale at the grocery store that week.
And there you've hit on another really important point, is the value of the grocery list. Because we have all been in the grocery store and sort of run willy-nilly if we don't have that list in front of us. And that helps, one, to keep you on track for planning and also for budgeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when do you plan on kicking off your next or your first program?
It'll definitely be January. We have a blank schedule ready to be filled.
Okay,
Yes.
So blank schedule ready to be filled for the new year. And that's another great thing. So we have this new opportunity in the new year to make these changes for our family. How is the best way for us to reach you, Alyssa?
Yes. So you can call the Cooperative Extension Office connected with Senior Services, or you can email me at Alyssa, ALYSSA.Jackson, JACKSON, at ncsu.edu.
All right. So yes, so you're in the multipurpose complex, Cooperative Extension in one wing, Senior Services in the other wing, out on Rich Lanes Highway at the Big County Multipurpose Complex, where you also have your farmers market, which is another great connection to what you do about talking, eating locally, eating fresh, and making connections, because when we know where our food comes from, it makes it for a pretty special connection.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Alyssa, we've got your email address, or folks can call you. You're at 910-455-5873, certainly there at Cooperative Extension. And we're going to kick off our new year learning about how to follow My Plate and make nutritious and healthy choices for our family and for ourselves. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of Onslow County Cooperative Extension.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, as always, for joining us for Onslow County today. And a very special thank you to all of our guests who brought words of promise and hope and opportunity, even in the face of challenges. 2022 has a lot of promise on the horizon. We thank you for joining us, and we look forward to what this new year has to bring.